Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be giving movement to a few of these trident maples and to show you how bonsai has changed my life and many others that attend my workshops and one-on-one classes. Bonsai is a powerful way to connect with nature. Even if you live in a small little garden or a tiny apartment or busy city, this is a perfect tool and a perfect hobby to get into. As you shape the tree and something beautiful happens, you begin to shape your own thoughts. So a lot of you don't know that I offer one-on-one classes and bonsai workshops. So basically with these workshops, you get to create your own bonsai on the day, or if you're struggling with your own trees that you need help with. This is an awesome way to just grow your confidence with bonsai and connect with nature and your own thoughts. So let's climb into this maple. So this is called a trident maple, or a lot of others call it a Chinese maple. So this is the perfect time to start giving it a bit of movement and shape. So you can see that if you let this grow quite thick, it's going to be really hard to give it any movement and shape. So these grow around South Africa and it's quite easy to find seeds if you take a walk. So there's so many growing on our pavements. So this tree is only about 2 years old and now it's the perfect time to just give it a little bit of movement while it's still young. So I'm just going to grab my wire and I'm just going to measure how much wire I need. So the first one I have is just a single trunk. So it's going to be super simple, and all we're going to really do is we're going to stick this wire into the soil, and I'm going to start by going around the base of the trunk and make sure it's super tight, and we're just going to keep going all the way up. So while I wire this maple, let me just share one of my stories. So I'm someone who suffers with ADHD, and bonsai has truly changed my life. So as a young boy, I've really suffered with thoughts and a very busy mind. So when I got into bonsai, I never really understood why bonsai was so amazing and how it just truly quietened down my mind and helped me make decisions in life. So I'm someone who can ponder on things for too long. And when I sit down with my trees, something unlocks inside of me. I can really get to know myself. I can learn to deal with my thoughts. And something I realized with bonsai is it starts to create new neural pathways in your brain. So many of us live in the back of our minds where we can become quite angry and so on. But if we can shift our mindsets to the front of our minds, we become more empathetic, a lot more peaceful, a lot more quiet. And this is something that even Albert Einstein speaks about. So you can see now me wiring this bonsai tree. I'm going to shape it just like how I like to shape my thoughts while I work on the tree. So I'm going to first start by just giving this trident maple a little bend. And I'm not going to do too much to it. I just want to give it a little bit more movement. So if any of you are struggling with, a very busy mind and so on, this is a perfect hobby to get into. So you can really just quieten your mind down, sit here and just have things to ask yourself. So if you have to ask yourself things that you are going through on in life, I can guarantee you now there's going to be beautiful things that come up for you. we quieten down our minds like this, we go into a form of sage, a sage mindset. So this is very, very powerful. And this is something you can do as soon as you wake up in the morning, even before you have your first coffee or so on. Just go outside and, really connect with nature and yourself. So it's always important to go outside, get some nice sunshine in your eyes, and let the sunshine go on your body. And this will just help you start your day off and quieten down that your mind, so that your day isn't so stressful, because it can be very stressful, especially where I come from, Johannesburg. It's a very, very stressful life we live, between, a lot of road rage on our roads and so on. It's something that if I don't do this, I really find that I battle with the day. And like I say, I'm not going to do too much to this, but I'm just giving it a little bit more natural flow to the tree. So after a while, this tree will set like this. And then once it's set nicely in spring or in summer, we can take off the wire and it'll have this beautiful shape to the tree. Perfect. So there you can see I've just created some really nice movement in this tree. I'm not going to chop it down, because if I chop it down, it'll start branching out, and that's not really what I want at the moment. I want it to rather thicken up first. So the longer you allow the tree to grow, the quicker it's going to thicken up right at the base of the tree. So I have my next little trident maple over here. You can see how these little pieces of foliage have really browned off, so now it's ready to just pluck them off. You can see how they're ready to fall off, so I'm just going to take them off as I go. And now you can see how this one has 2 trunks. So I planted 2 little seedlings next to each other just to create something a little bit more different within the tree. So I'm just going to start by wiring one of them, and then I'm going to go to the next one. So you really don't have to spend loads of money doing bonsai. You can see how in just 2 years' time, I've started creating these beautiful, beautiful maples. And yes, they're not finished bonsai yet, but it's about the process and it's about the journey. So you can see with having 2 trunks like this, you can decide on which direction you want to go. You could also decide to take this one out and plant it into another container. It's completely up to you. And just like life, we can have many directions we can go in life. So sometimes choosing the right path might not always be the right path. We might decide to go on the other direction, but whichever direction you go, something beautiful will come. So I have one of my clients who comes and does weekly classes with me, and he's really struggling with addiction. So bonsai has been such an amazing tool for him, because instead of, craving alcohol or drugs or something like that, he's been able to shift his mind to doing bonsai every day. So a few of my classes, I give them little projects that you can take home with. And now, instead of him stressing and worrying at nighttime, he can rather spend time with his trees. So it's a very, very powerful thing bonsai can do for everyone. Even if you're not struggling with addiction, maybe it's thoughts like I have and a busy mind, but it's something I truly believe in. Bonsai is so powerful, and it is an artistic expression. So some people find the joy in that, but sometimes just, taking bonsai for what it is just incredible. So I'm just bending that out of the way. Now I'm going to start by wiring the smaller little trunk. now you can see at this point, there's 2 branches forming. So I'm just going to follow one of the directions. Cool, so now I'm going to just give it a little bit of movement to these maples. You really want to try and bend it right at the base so there's some nice movement, because later on we will snip the tree down a bit so it can start branching out. So it's always important to try and get nice movement right at the bottom, just in case you only want a small tree later on. This one I'm going to be a little bit more drastic too. I also find sometimes people take bonsai way too seriously. And yes, you know, sometimes that is a really nice part of bonsai, is exhibiting your trees and finding joy in that way. But sometimes, you know, for everyone and so on, we don't all want to exhibit our trees. Sometimes we just enjoy the process. So taking a young tree and just shaping it the way you want to shape it is also okay. You don't always have to worry about critique and so on, because everyone has their own opinion in life. Perfect. So you can see the idea of these trees, where the canopy would probably be about this high on the tree. So later on, I would snip off these branches and allow new branches to form on the trunk of the tree. So it's a really nice thing to do, is to wire your trees out, but also don't worry too much about the end goal for now. All we're worrying about is giving it a bit of movement right towards the bottom of the tree. So you can see how just in life, there's so many different types of people, and everyone, you know, follows a different journey in life and finds success in different ways or at different times. So just like this tree, you can see how this tree hasn't lost all its leaves yet. A few of them are ready to fall off if I start plucking them off. But if you see this tree over here, all its leaves fell off a lot earlier than this tree over here. So that is quite an important lesson in life. So I'm just going to brush my fingers on the leaves. If any of them fall off naturally, they'll fall off. If they're not ready to fall off yet, we're just going to let them fall off in their own time. So you can see these ones aren't quite ready to fall off yet. And I've got some here at the base that want to fall off, just like that. Cool, I've got a nice weed here I'm just going to pull out. It's a nice time to also take out all those weeds on the tree. And now you can see that this tree has 3 trunks to it. So we're going to wire up these 3 trunks and give them a little bit more direction and flow, because we don't want them to grow towards each other, because next season they're going to get quite bushy and full, and then one of them might weaken. So I'm just going to grab my wire, and I'm going to start by wiring the tallest one first. So when you see a tree shake in the wind, and it looks like the wind is really destroying the tree, it's actually strengthening the tree. So it's building resilience in the tree. So like us in life, we also need to go through hard times just to build resilience and character. So basically what I'm doing now is just giving the tree a bit more character, because straight lines aren't as beautiful as lines that have bends and curves in it. So now we just need to be careful and go through all these bits of foliage without crushing them, even though they will fall off. We always want to be mindful and gentle to the tree. So I'm going to start wiring the second little trunk. So I really hope to see you guys soon in one of my classes or workshops. To get in touch with me, you're also welcome to just DM me on Instagram or on TikTok, and I'll be happy to answer anything you want to know, or if you want to book your next class and we can do some bonsai together. Just going to chop this wire off to neaten it up. And even if you're just struggling with something in life and you want to chat through with anything, we can do some trees together, and we can, you're welcome to open up and have I can create a nice safe space for you where, you can share some of your stories and some of the issues you're going through. Because I'm sure, everyone has similar issues, but we're also scared to open up about these things. But it's important to chat to other people about them. So even if you guys are in another country and not only in South Africa, you're welcome to also reach out, and we can set up a Zoom chat and we can do bonsai online, and I can advise you on where to get your trees and what trees to work on. And you know what? The world is so amazing with couriering now. I can even send you some tools and some wire if you don't have any. So please do feel free to reach out. That's the beautiful thing about life at the moment, is we can connect with anyone, even if the person's from, miles and miles away, we can still connect and bring beauty to this world. With this one, I'm just going to do some really small little bits of movement. Nothing too drastic. And I'm basically going to want to follow this branch over here, or this trunk. So I'm just going to pretend they're almost working together as if they grew in a forest together. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more natural movement. And my idea is I almost want them to be leaning over a touch. This is the beautiful thing about bonsai, is it's also subjective to what you like. It's always nice to follow what trees do in the wild. But at the end of the day, we're all different human beings and we like different things. So, how has bonsai helped you? I would really love to hear all of your stories. So please don't be scared to drop me a little comment and, share your story with me. It would be so amazing to hear, and I'm sure others would love to hear your stories too. So like you can see, these are 3 of the same exact plants, but each one is totally unique from one another. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop me a comment, and I'll see you all next week, Saturday.